Yeah, family, what's good? We in the building. Come on. Hope everyone's good, man. Hope everybody is good. How about now? We're dealing with the readers as leaders. Yeah, man, this is readers are leaders. Gonna be reading from chapter 3. You know, um, hope you guys are all well, man. The prayer you read with some passes away. All right, say that. There we go, man. Big up another. Big up Western Goddess, Akil, Hassan. You know, man like Zulu, man like Khan. Salute to you all. Obasaxi. Yeah. Big up, big up. Let me get into my reading frame of mind. Big up, man. Big up, card, man. Here's a link for guys to join, guys and girls to join. Let me make sure it's in the actual description. That will help. I'll put it up in the description. Boom. Hold on. Wait. As always, there's a number to call. See it scrolling around the bottom of the screen. Boom, boom, boom. Put this in here. But the StreamYard link is in the description as well. Just hit the save. Right. Where we at? Hold tight, Rodney K. Hold tight, Oasis. Hold tight, Rika B. So today, we're carrying on the readers are leaders from last week, where we was chatting about the book, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I'm reading from the new edition, similar to the one that's up on the screen. And yeah, man, we just try to expand our horizons a little bit. I know it's an old book. I picked a book that a lot of people would be familiar with, or a lot of people have heard of, Yeah, man, I thought I had to squeeze this in because we spent some time today talking about like popular culture and shit like that. And I thought I'd go to another form of media, which is the book. Since we mentioned Iceberg Slim and Pimp, which is a good book to read. Let's keep it on the theme of books. 48 Laws of Power. If you ain't read it, look, check out. This is episode 2, so check out episode 1, and it'll give you an update. And you might never have to read this book because we're gonna go through it so well. I wish Khan was around, man. Not Khan, Khalid. Khalid enjoyed this so much. Maybe he'll pass through. So last week we dealt with the chapter entitled "Never Outshine the Master." That was quite a deep one there. Still, the concept behind it, what they're talking about, and then we did never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. That's a great. I think it's great advice personally. Some people accuse this book of making you a manipulator or trying to teach you how to be a manipulator, but I say it's teaching you awareness of the tactics that already exist. Whether you choose to use them or not, that's up to you. But you definitely can maybe defend yourself against some of them if used on you. Do you know what I mean? Either way, information is information. But yeah, I advise you to go check this book out, man. Yeah. So ultra funky, big up your chest, and old tight C4 Blaster as well, man. Nice to see you guys out here. Yeah, the link is in the description if you want to jump on, say your highs or whatever, or even talk about some of this with me. Because what I do is I read a little bit, and then I try to talk about it with people. Do you know what I mean? And see what they think. So the quicker I can get some, you have this book, yeah, Ultra Funky, big up. Maybe you can come on and put your 2 pence in, Funkster. Probably at work though. Let me. Big up man like Kemo as well, man. Big up in the building. JP, big up yourself as well, man. Nice to see you folks come through. Yeah. So law 3, yeah. Law 3 is conceal your intentions. Conceal your intentions. Yeah. Let me see if I let me send this broadcast out. Let people know that we're doing episode 2, and then yeah, we can get into this. The Book of the Law, Crowley. Baba, you got a dark sense of humor still, man. You crack me up. Some of the things you'd be laughing at. Let me let me find this. Boom. Share. Copy. Actual Factual says this book is not for us. Who's this book for? Who's this book for, man? It is though. It's pretty much do what thou wilt by any means necessary. Okay. This book is not for the people, then. Okay. So we got books that we shouldn't. So is it like a book that we shouldn't read? Actual Factual. And is there such thing as a book that you should never read? Maybe. What happens if you read it? Is it going to have a negative effect? Let's see, man. Let's see. Okay, so yeah. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path. Envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. Let's break that down. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. Now, I think personally, like I know a man says that that's not for us, yeah, but I think it's perfect because too many of us, including me, are willing to give away our strategies, our plans because we want to be honest. We're honest in nature, but I mean that type of honesty, I think I always say is a gift, and that's a gift you give to your friends and your enemies when you hand that out. So you need to make sure that when you're handing out that honesty, that it's a gift to somebody that's deserving of that. That's what I would say. You giving too much information about your actions could be detrimental, man. Depends on how focused you are, how determined you are to make your actions a reality. Because sometimes speaking it before you do it can undo the intention. Do you know what I mean? Big up Jack Lad, man. Big up Jack Lad. Yeah, and Council of Nice is welcome back. Dean Okai Senior, good evening. Yes, I'm bang on the money, says Dean Okai Senior. Big up yourself, man. Yeah, man. I feel like as long as you're true with yourself and you're honest with yourself, yeah, and you're forthcoming with yourself, it's poor strategy to give the same level of understanding you have about why and what you're doing to any and everybody. So I'd say like it's definitely wisdom to be guarded about your strategy, you know, and I don't see anything nefarious in that. That's sports. Even in sports, yeah, you don't cheat in sports, do you? You're not supposed to cheat, especially on a professional level. You're not supposed to cheat in sports. You're supposed to have fairness and gentlemanly conduct. However, you will fake plays. You will pretend to shoot, and really you're passing. You will send someone to go run over the ball before you do a free kick or a penalty or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's all about misleading in boxing or UFC. You might be misleading your opponent into thinking that they are getting the better of you, that you are vulnerable to a certain type of attack, but really that's your strategy, you know. And you don't need to reveal that to anybody outside of your camp. Yeah, you might even have a couple techers yourself, or your coach might have a couple techers that only you know, because he's not risking it getting leaked out to the other side and them having a counter ready for something you do. The element of surprise is invaluable, man. You know what I mean? And just because people think they know what you're doing doesn't mean they know what you're doing. As long as you can keep it like that, then you can stay one step ahead of people that may be intent in stopping you from realizing your actions, from realizing your intentions. You know what I mean? Don't telegraph your punches, as Bruce Lee said. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Dean Okai Senior says, in order for our Kebulon people to advance to the next level, we must be guarded. Racism is a team sport, and we are acting within our silos, which are being observed by the enemy. There you go. Is that what intelligent agencies operate on? Maybe so, you know, maybe so. The next line was, if they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. So yeah, we've already been up with that, man. But yeah, you don't want to let somebody know your next move. You play chess, you know, you might set somebody up to guard a piece that you have no intention of taking. They take their eye off the board and look and start looking at what you're looking at, and they start making preparations for what they think you're gonna do. They're never really ready for what you actually do. You know. Uh, Let me send out this link again. Feel free to jump on, come and talk with me. I prefer it, you know. But if I'm alone, I'm gonna try and muddle through it. But it's much better when I can interact with a couple people on the panel. But we seem to have a bit of a drought today, unless we're talking about certain popular subjects. But yeah, man, come through, man. Mills Turk, you know, General, big up yourself. Um, my thing is that we should be on code with those of a similar ilk, and this is what we call a society. Okay, there you go, man. What do we have here? Guide them for enough, guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. Jeez.
Ooh,
Man, like me,
mad.
Wagwan, my G.
Big up, family.
Yeah, we just.
Is this what we're doing, yeah? Is
Yeah,
that what
this
we're
what we're
doing?
doing. This what we're doing, man. It's episode 2. Cheers.
Gee.
Wait 1 second. Let me thingy my jigger me. 1 second. Boom. See, Mills has got his out. Yeah, I got
Books
mine
on
out.
deck.
Still,
Books on deck.
books on deck. Yeah, it's
We saying
like
we're
it's
reading chapter 2.
we're on chapter 3. Yeah,
Chapter 3, yeah?
law 3. Yeah.
All right. How far are we? Am I late to class? Sorry, I'm late to class.
Yeah, nah, nah, it's cool. You see that first little paragraph? You can read that and tell me what you decipher from that.
Conceal your intentions. keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If you have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late.
Talk to me, sire. Western Goddess, wagwan.
Yeah, blessings. You know,
Big
I never
up-
jump
big up
on. I said
Western.
I'll jump on stage.
Big up, West.
Yeah, man.
Oh, God,
Every
I
time.
ain't heard your hype of West for a while.
I'm not too hyper today, though. I felt a bit ill. I don't
Is
know. Coronavirus season, you get me?
Let's not even play. Let's not even play, man. Do you know what I mean? Because I know it's in your ends heavy.
Myself, no, don't want to. No.
So, what are you saying? You familiar with this book?
I'm not, you know. I should be, but I'm not. I just thought the first chapter you read out was very interesting because I move in silence a lot.
Yeah.
I move in silence a lot, man. Because I just feel that especially the younger generation, like in their 20s and stuff, are too open with their steps.
Yeah.
There's always like this location thing going on that, oh yeah, I'm on a plane going to Ibiza, for example. You know what I mean? Why are you telling everybody that you're going on a plane today? You know what I mean? Anything can happen.
Yeah, I agree. Some people wonder why their house gets burgled. They're always broadcasting when they're out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, all sorts. So it's like, I definitely 100% subscribe to that one, that first one that you read out.
Yeah, Kemo was asking, is this about an enemy or a friend? Does it stipulate?
Could be both, really.
Whatever, isn't it? Like,
it could be both, in my opinion. Yeah, it could be both.
I would argue
enemy
that
and a friend.
I would argue it's anybody outside of self. If you can apply this strategy to yourself, then afterwards the after effects is that you kind of can apply it to in any situation at your discretion. Like at the end of the day, it's things are on a need to know basis. We need to practice being tighter with our information. Like we're being encouraged to give away our personal details more and more and more. Do you know what I mean? Like you need your email and your number and your this and that to get certain apps, to get in certain, do you know what I mean? Just to do certain basic things now. Even to be on here, there's a degree of your anonymity that you've had to give up. Your IP address, which is your location, the make and model of your device. You know what I mean? Linked to things that have your bank account details, blah blah blah. Some of you got Facebook and your real names, your mum's real names there, your cousin's real name, your whole family trees map out. Do you know what I mean? It's just deep. You got pictures at your workplace, so everyone knows where you work. Yada yada yada.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of data protection, we are at our all-time low, and the powers that be keep encroaching more and more and more and more using the Hegelian dialectic. They force us in a covert game. They force us to give up our freedoms. I mean,
yeah, it's very interesting. And nowadays data is the new currency.
Of course.
So it's like we're giving away our data for $3.99, and other people, could be an enemy, could be a friend, is now going to profit off that data.
Facts.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Facts.
He's saying Millsy. Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Millsy.
All right, cool. I'm gonna read a little. Where's Mills? I'll wait him to make him come back. I want him to hear this bit. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize what your intentions, it will be too late. What do you think about that?
Say the last part again.
Says, yeah. Guide them enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late.
Yeah, that's sort of like a smoke and mirrors kind of one, isn't it? Where you might give a little bit of information about what you are going to do or what you expect.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the execution, for example, it's a totally different outlook. Yeah. I think that sums that up. What do you think?
Yeah, I just think misdirection is a tool, isn't it? And like, you know, allowing people to, you know, when people make assumptions, you see that they're watching you or whatever, or they think they have certain ideas about what you're about or what you're doing, and like, especially when it's wrong, don't be so fast to correct people that have the wrong impression about you. You know, because we always want people to know exactly what it is and exactly what we're on. But yeah, don't be afraid to like let people make their assumptions, even when you hear it's false. More power to you. Because if they have false images of you or false impressions of what you're about, then yeah, man, they ain't gonna be ready for what you're really on. It's like allowing your enemy to underestimate you, not always showing what you can do, showing what you're capable of. You know, it's not always necessary. From you know what you're about and what you can do. Sometimes it's best to keep it like that until it's needed. Then you've got the element of surprise. We show our hands too much. We show our capabilities too much.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, we do, definitely. You know?
When it's not that time.
You know, I have a terrible habit making an assumption of somebody. I'm not even gonna lie. I can hold my hands up to that one.
Yeah.
Where I'll look at someone, maybe I'm in town or something like that, and I'll look at someone and think they wouldn't be able to do what they said they're gonna do. Or maybe you think, oh, they're maybe gonna go from one job to the other. You kind of make an assumption where they're not going to be able to do that job properly. And I'm guilty of I'm definitely guilty of that. Where I shouldn't really be making that assumption. I don't know the person.
Yeah.
I don't know what their individual strength is. I don't know what their, you know what I mean, their mentality is to sort of get that job done. But I've already made that assumption. You know?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna read some of this. Yo, Mills, I don't know if you're there. Keep disappearing. I was waiting for you still. But I'm gonna crack on. Most people are open books. They say what they feel, blurt out their opinions at every opportunity, and constantly reveal their plans and intentions. They do this for several reasons. First, it is easy and natural to always want to talk about one's feelings and plans for the future. I'm gonna read this again just so that you can hear this, yeah? Mills. Right.
Before we carry on though, one thing I want to say about
can't hear you.
One thing that I find important is very important is what are you up to? Do you know what you're up to? Do you understand? People are talking about intentions and trying to steer people away from your actual intentions, but do you even know what your intentions are in the first place? Or are you being manipulated into a certain intention or certain feeling? So that's one thing I just wanted to put out there as a curveball.
I hear you still. You know what you're on. All right. 1 second. All right.
And also when it goes back to guiding them through down the wrong path, let's be honest, if you're just doing you and you're motivated to get where you want to get to, no matter what sort of bad energy comes their way, if they're not on the right path, they're not coming with you. They're going to end up in the wrong path. They're not going to end up on the same path, and they're not going to be enveloped in the smoke that you caused. They're going to be enveloped in their own smoke, their own hatred. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even need to cause no smoke. They'll do it themselves.
This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying to Goddess. I was saying to her that basically sometimes you got to let people believe what they want, like especially when it's wrong. Don't even correct them, because then that's that smoke. That's the wrong path. Like for instance, like you just said about not thinking someone could do the job. Like imagine if that was now in a workplace, and then like it's like you don't think this person could do the job, so you're not worried, innit? So you ain't got your A game on because you're just like, nah, he ain't even, or she ain't even half as good as me. You turn around in the blink of an eye, they've done their job and other jobs and totally outshone you, and you weren't even making the effort. It's just like in a race. You don't even take the person in the race next to you seriously, so you're not giving it your all. And by the time you look up, that person is gone because they've put 110 into the action, and you're left behind. Yeah, I mean, you're like shit. All because you underestimated someone. So like it's not always bad for people to underestimate you. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. It's how you use it, I guess.
All right, check this now. Let's go. Most people are open books. They say what they feel, blurt out their opinions at every opportunity, and constantly reveal their plans and intentions. They do this for several reasons. First, it is easy and natural to always want to talk about one's feelings and plan for the future. It takes effort to control your tongue and monitor what you reveal. Second, many believe that by being honest and open, they are winning people's hearts and showing their good nature. They are greatly deluded. Honesty is actually a blunt instrument which bloodies more than it cuts. Your honesty is likely to offend people. It is more prudent to tailor your words, telling people what they want to hear rather than the coarse and ugly truth of what you feel or how you think. More important, by being unabashedly open, you make yourself so predictable and familiar that it is almost impossible to respect or fear you, and people will not accrue to a person who cannot inspire such emotions. Yeah, that's the first little paragraph. Still, what do you not think about that? I can put my hands up to being someone that I think can just be a little too honest or just a little bit too relaxed. Do you know what I mean?
Do you agree with them? Honesty is a blunt object.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry?
I think I'd rather the honesty though. Do you not? In most cases.
You would rather the honesty. I don't know. I think a lot of us say that we would rather the honesty.
Yeah.
But would we though?
But I know what you're trying to say, Weston. You mean honesty with each other, yeah? I understand that to a certain degree, but they're saying just honest to everyone. They think by me telling everyone the truth, it's putting me in a better position.
There you go. There you go.
I told you the truth. That makes me better.
No. Yeah.
I mean, the truth only holds some weight. It might be truth about being bad about something. Of course.
This book is calculating as a mother. Like, oh my, it scares me, yeah, because everybody, like I'm serious, like we can all take good points out of this book, yeah?
Yeah.
But like if you live your life by this book,
yeah,
you're a deceitful person, like you're always calculating. I won't even say deceitful, I'll say calculating, super calculating. You get me? But it's a good book to read still, but I would say anybody who's reading that book, don't live your life by it. Otherwise, it's not going to make you a nicer person.
Do you know a book? Do you know a better book to live your life by?
No.
Exactly. My point being that I totally agree with you. Do not live your life by a book. A book full stop. Yeah. The only book that you should be living your life by is the book of self. That's your book. Your book is what you need to live your life by, but no other book, I would say, is out there that I would personally say live your life by. Not a law book, not a poetry book, not a religious book.
Do you know anybody who's read that book and like literally lives their life by it? I know a few people who've read that book multiple times over, and it's like it almost changes the way that they think. Like, I believe it's supposed to be
in the book.
but it changes you, man. It changes you. It just makes you more calculated. Even if you never, I remember reading the book here when I first read the book. It surprised me at how calculating people are. Do you know what I mean? I was a bit innocent to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know.
It's deep. No. I'm with you, bro. Understand? And I feel like you got this nature where it's like, nah, don't read this book because I don't want people to turn like this. Yeah. But what you gotta understand, or what you know deep down, is people are like this anyway, and the people that are not aware of this can't guard against it.
I totally agree with you. You should read it to arm yourself against people who study that blood clot.
At the very least. At the very least. But like, honestly, like with like I think it's a book where you can take it to different extremes. Each thing you read, you can apply it to like an enemy or a friend. You could apply it to like, you know, family, or, you know, like there's
a relationship.
And then also it's more about applying it to you. And I think when you look at life, me personally, what I take from the book is, when I look at life, I'm often the person being described in the book with the naiveties.
Yeah, me too. Like, you're the one that's being taken advantage of.
All right.
That's true.
All right. So why wouldn't?
But you understand? Listen. Go on. I would say, being the one that's being taken advantage of. Yeah, don't you? I would say that even though you got taken advantage of and they was more calculating. Well, if there's a heaven, you're due to go to that heaven, you know, and they're due to go to that. They're due to go to hell.
Maybe
for they're manipulating. Shit, you get me?
I refuse to be saturated in morals when I'm reading this book. I leave my morals aside. I just want to apply logic and look at what the information is, and see where it fits and where it doesn't. I don't want to be emotionally triggered or attached or whatever, because it's like you can't be a pum pum when you're reading this book. You got to man up and realize that it's just a tiny part of psychology that is used day to day. You even read the book and see things that you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Already you do these things. So it's like, okay, it might even help put a language to describe what it is you do already, you know, naturally. Yeah, because look, mummy knows all of these things, you know. Mummy applies all these things. Yeah, mummy will tell you don't talk, don't speak on your things because people give you evil eye or people bad mind you or whatever. Mummy knows about these things already. This is still it's just written in a language where psychologically it might be more inspiring, but in terms of practices and behaviors, people have been employing this shit and are employing this shit right now as we speak. So
where it shows you loads of things, people have been probably employing those kind of things for thousands of years, because it always shows you a demonstration of where it happened in war and they use that tactic or whatever it was. You know what I mean? All of those tactics and stuff, psychological tactics during warfare and stuff, they're actually used. It shows a reference of when that was used and when it was successful, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Well, go on, Mills. What are you thinking?
I don't know, man. I don't know, because at the same time I agree, but at the same time I feel like it's a more of a reaction sort of. 48 Laws of Power is a reaction that you give. You keep doing what you're doing, but if you get you always keep a close eye on someone, and then when they get close to that marker where you know that's going to be a trigger to where it's going to end up leading, that's when you deal with it. But until then, it's not down to you. Don't try and judge someone.
Okay. Honestly, it's actually a blunt instrument that bloodies more than cuts. Your honesty is likely to offend people. It is much more prudent to tailor your words, telling people what they want to hear rather than the coarse and ugly truth of what you feel or think. What do you think about that? Big up Jack the Lad, or Jack Lad, sorry.
Hello, Jedi, mate. Hello, everyone.
All right.
Yeah,
Hi.
brilliant, mate. This is really interesting to me. It's, do you know, I've been looking for a book like this all my life,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. From what I can see, I don't think it addresses one thing. When you were first saying some things,
Yeah.
I thought it was a book for a psychopath. But I also see it's also a book of common sense. I mean, when you ask that question, what book? I don't know what your name is there, mate. You said you wouldn't live your life by this book, and I wouldn't when I first met it. But it's not just a book telling us basically not to trust anybody and blow up a smoke screen all the time. It's also giving us some common sense. So, as you said there, Jedi, you asked him what book would you live by, and you know the answer to that question will be down to the individual. But the thing is, it's teaching us about people who we're not necessarily like that. It's teaching us about the psychopath, basically.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's also keeping us in common sense and giving us the common sense wisdom your mother would give you, as you say there, Jedi. It's just amazing. I can't wait to read this book later on.
That's a good book. It is a good read still.
Yeah. Okay,
100%.
so
I like to make a quick point there, Jedi. Just a quick one on the truth being more bloodier than whatever. I can't remember the analogy properly, but it's probably true. How many people do you see say that live by the motto like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, and if it hurts, it hurts? But those people tend to get themselves in the most amount of problem.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it how it is. Yeah,
I'm gonna say it how it is, whether you like it or not. Next minute, you know,
we got your back. Yeah, we got your back. Next thing you know,
I had a sentence once where you can use the truth as a weapon, or you shouldn't use the truth as a weapon.
Why is that?
Nah, that's the best weapon. That's the best weapon.
Well, it is the best weapon if you want to hurt them, but if you want to teach people.
What other kind of weapons is there, bro? I'm tickling people. My weapons are meant to hurt you.
Do you want to use weapons? That's the question. I don't.
I'm saying like things like this to me, it's like they're tools, innit? And you keep them in your tool bag. And there's times where you have to draw for them.
There are times I agree.
It's better to have them and not have them.
Definitely.
But like,
Dean made a really good point there.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's good to have the tool in your tool bag. And like Goddess was saying, I would rather live in honesty and not want to use these tools. I mean, but yeah, there is a time to use them, I guess, if you want to, I don't know, give a back chat to someone who's been an enemy to you. But I would rather live in a world where I would never need to use these tools. But having this tool in your tool bag, as you say, it teaches you how, again, I'm going to use the word psychopaths, it teaches you how they think. So you can... You know where they're coming from.
Okay, Senior makes a really good point.
Anything.
Sorry, I was going to say this point. What Dean OK Senior said is a really good point in the chat. He said 48 laws of 48 laws of power is not a reaction. It's a precursor to recognize attributes that will not serve the equilibrium of your environment. That was a good. Was that too fast?
No. I could do with a little.
Yeah, I was looking at that comment. That's a very good comment to make, because I think when it comes to the truth, you really have to apply that to the immediate environment that you are in. For example, if like you were in a very public area like the train station, and you know something was going on your left-hand side, you wouldn't automatically walk towards that left-hand side. You know what I mean? You wouldn't put yourself in the middle of that situation, if you like. You know what I mean? So you really have to analyze it first before you actually say, you know what, I would usually just go over there like nothing's happening. Does that make sense?
Dean, okay, Senior, man, get on panel, bro, because you're making some gems. I like your comments still, you know, brother. You need to get on panel and have a chat, bro. Like, I like the truth is that without the tools of the game, you'll lose within the game at every turn. And irrespective of your awareness, you are in the game.
Yeah, whether you know it or not.
But there's no opt-out, innit? Yeah. What I'm
That
saying.
goes back to what Jedi was saying in the fact of like you should use it to arm yourself. You know what I mean? Like of Wagwan. So yeah,
Yeah, like
really
I was
good
saying,
point
if
to
there's
listen.
something I could teach my children, I could leave them with something. It would just be psychological warfare. That's what I would love to instill that in my children. You know,
Wisdom,
Break that
man.
down.
Wisdom.
Break that down. Sounds brutal. I'm with you though. But
psychological warfare is like, you know, there's times in life where you got to go to war. We're not talking about physical war. We're talking about a war of
the
willpower
mind,
or
yeah.
determination. Yeah, and you're going to deal with all types of foes. Like there's going to be women. They're going to come at you with a different style. You're going to have friends. They're going to come at you with a different style. Like it's like smoke and mirrors, isn't it? Like you got to be able to deal with the whole. Get me. Variety of enemies. Like you might say they're enemies, but sometimes they're not enemies. But you might have to just deal with them like they're enemies sometimes.
But instead of using that tool, couldn't you just walk away? I mean, to use that tool, you kind of joining them in that kind of battle, aren't you? When
in this scenario, there's no walk away. You turn your back, you're going to get stabbed in your back. You run,
well,
you're going to be seen as your.
I'm not saying
the thing is, like, there's a difference between strength and power, isn't it? With strength, you don't need to put no effort into it. If you're strong, you're sitting there and you're still strong. But power is the application, is the delivery. You get me? That's power, isn't it? Doing part of it. Yeah. So if you're not doing that and you're not powerful.
In weightlifting term, we say strength plus speed equals power. You understand?
I've got a neighbor. She's schizophrenic, and she's a lovely lady, right? She's so lovely and vulnerable, you know. And if the kids outside used the truth and called their names, you know, mentioned her schizophrenia, she wouldn't like that, because I took her to a no smoking clinic recently, and we've got her off the fag. She was smoking about 80 a day, and the lady who was running the class said she was asking about any medication, because she was prescribing anti-smoking drugs, you know, so she had to know if she was on any medication. And in part of questioning her, she said, "Are you diagnosed with anything?" And she said no, and she doesn't know that she's schizophrenic. So I think using the truth in that case could be damaging towards her. It's not always a good thing to use the truth. And the kids could use it as a weapon against her, and that's what I was thinking earlier when I said that. I don't think you need to use it. I mean, you shouldn't use the truth as a weapon against people. And if you do, you know, you're talking about that scenario when someone is trying to hurt you with words, for instance, you could walk away from that. You don't have to do the same.
But that's strength. That's strength. That's not power.
Nice one. True. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it's obvious that there are some
one thing I've noticed: as soon as we start talking about power, people start getting shook. Because that's the thing about power, isn't it? Get me? Scary.
Great power comes great responsibilities.
You get me, fam? It's like
it's power.
So you start giving out these gems, your hand. It's like you're handing out weapons. Get me? Like it's like me standing here handing out weapons, and he's standing over there thinking, "Rah, what are these guys gonna do with this knowledge?" And no,
your own self, isn't it? It's power over your own self.
Everyone be good. Don't hurt anyone. Don't say anything that's going to upset people's feelings. That's how power is, isn't it? Power is transferable.
Yeah, but what we're talking about here is power over our own self, and having the strength to be able to walk away from perhaps somebody who's calling you a name. You know, so it's power over our own self in this case, isn't it? So it's not like power over anybody else where they could feel threatened by it. They don't need to. Do you know what I mean? So it's an amazing book. Look at all these different ways of thinking about, you know, each little thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit more. Also, please hit the like button, family. Big up to the 62 people. Thank you for choosing Trilluminati Live. This is Readers Are Leaders.
Come on.
48 Laws of Power. You know,
What page?
We're on page 10.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, the second paragraph now. It goes, if you yearn for power, quickly lay honesty aside and train yourself in the art of concealing your intentions. Master the art and you will always have the upper hand. Basic to an ability to conceal one's intentions is a simple truth about human nature. Our first instinct is to always trust appearances. We cannot go around doubting the reality of what we see and hear, constantly imagining that appearances concealed something else would exhaust and terrify us. This fact makes it relatively easy to conceal one's intentions. Simply dangle an object you seem to desire, a goal you seem to aim for in front of people's eyes, and they will take the appearance for reality. One way to hide your intention is to talk endlessly about your desires and goals, just not your real ones. You will kill 3 birds with 1 stone. You appear friendly, open, and trusting. You conceal your intentions, and you send your rivals on time-consuming wild goose chases.
Oh, hey, you're definitely going to hell. You're definitely going to hell if you manifest this whole book. Yeah.
Nah, but listen, no, because it's
You get forward in this life, but in the hereafter, you're going down.
Not really. It's where you place this. For instance, yeah, not to take it back there, yeah, but let's imagine that a slave had this book, and his intention was to get free. How would he apply this? Yeah, he would apply this by thinking, right, the last thing I want to make these little things I'm trying to do is escape or steal that knife.
I wanted to think I'm going to be the best slave ever.
Exactly. So you're already applying this law. You ain't getting hell for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You can apply it.
True.
Do you understand? It is beneficial to misdirect people. Right by now, this is just about magic, really, and the art of misdirection, isn't it? That's all it is. Sleight of hand.
Again, when you first read that, I thought there's no other way to think about this except this is how the psychopath thinks, and this is how he or she is going to oppress people. But now you've shown me that it could be used by a person who's oppressed or in that position to gain power or win over the psychopath, for instance. Yeah, it's wow.
Serious book still.
Specs makes a point. Says a lot of these methods only work on someone who works against you. And
good point.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Whatever position you are, whether you're the psychopath trying to manipulate someone or somebody who's in the suppressed position, trying to gain equilibrium over the psychopath, it's still those two positions.
You got psychopaths on the brain, bro.
I don't think you have to be
I know, and I'm going to keep holding it.
You can use it in little smaller ways. Not even doesn't have to be so big as a slave and blah blah blah. You could use it in little ways, like even in your in a relationship with somebody, you could maybe misdirect them on something and make them think one thing while you achieve another goal, whether it be building a dream house, surprise, or planning a wedding, or planning a birthday party, or whatever. You could use it in a small way where you might maybe go on so much about how you can't wait to, I don't know, go off and sorry, I'm not going to be here for your birthday. I just can't wait to, this holiday is going to be so sick. You compound that in their head. They are not thinking that you're planning to be there and do this big surprise. I mean, it doesn't have to be such a sinister thing. It's just, do you know what I mean?
But see with me, to me, there's 2 types of people. There's certain people that I instantly click with, and we're on the same team. So I could meet you somewhere, and you're coming up to me and going, "Yeah, so bro, what we on?" And I'm like, "Boom, this is the play." And we're together, and you might not know me. We might be from different ends, but at that moment, we're working together. But there's other people who can come up to me and they're like, and they start talking about the weather, and they want to talk about football, and I'm like, so suspect to them people because of this particular rule. Because that's, to me, you're showing me the smoke and mirrors, and I'm like, you ain't come over here to talk about football, bro.
Nice.
Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm immediately, I got my guard up, and I'm like, whoa, why is he talking to him about the weather? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the misdirection right there.
Crazy.
So that's just me. I'm the suspect of everyone.
It might not be misdirection, you know, because when two people meet for the first time, they might talk about the weather just to break the ice here and there. But within a couple of minutes, you should, I don't know. Maybe I've got neighbours who never talk about anything but the weather. And I think, oh my God, they're going to come over here. They're going to be 20 minutes talking to me about the weather. And even though, you know, this particular lady I'm thinking of, she's a nice woman, not schizophrenic. She's boring. So I don't like talking to her for that reason, you know. But I think, why don't you ever talk about anything, an opinion on something, like, you know? But I don't think she does it to be devious. But I suppose so. But it can be used for that, can't it? You know, people who
and
will come along.
You should have your little story straight. You should have that little story in your mind that you want to tell people.
Yeah, agreed.
The misdirection story. You should have it like memorized, like it's an exam.
And they will, won't they? They come over, you know, say someone, I don't know why the hell I'm thinking of this, but I'm thinking of someone joining a group where you might be having a cigarette outside. I don't smoke. But someone will come over, start talking about the weather. He's got no fags in his pocket, but his intention is to try and get a cigarette off someone.
We call that spliff politics where I'm from, mate.
Oh,
there's a guy that always starts a convo as soon as you light your spliff or you're billing it. All of a sudden, he's mad chatty, and he ain't gonna stop talking to you until that zoot is lit and you've taken enough pause for him to say, let's have a toke. Do you know what I mean? That's spliff politics.
Yes.
It's funny because sometimes someone will talk to you throughout your whole process of rolling a joint. They talk to you, they watch you light it, they chat, and somewhere through the conversation, you smoke the whole spliff, and by the time they've gone to ask, it's roach. And I'm like, yeah, but yeah, spliff politics.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right, cool. Yeah, and if you're that guy that tries to start a conversation with the guy that's building up that zoot, relax a bit, man. Relax. We've clocked you. You've been seen.
Yeah.
Another powerful tool is throwing people off the scent. Another powerful tool in throwing people off the scent is false sincerity. People easily mistake sincerity for honesty, seeming to believe what you say gives your words great weight. This is how Iago deceived and destroyed Othello. Given the depth of his emotions, the apparent sincerity of his concern about Desdemona's supposed infidelity, how could Othello distrust him? If you believe that deceivers are colourful folk who mislead with elaborate lies and telltales, you are greatly mistaken. The best deceivers utilize a blend, an inconspicuous front that calls no attention to themselves. They know that extravagant words and gestures immediately raise suspicion. Instead, they envelop their targets in the familiar, the banal, and the harmless. Once you have lulled people's attention with the familiar, they will not notice the deception being perpetrated behind their backs. The grayer and more uniform the smoke in your smoke screen, the better it conceals your intentions.
Yeah.
It all sounds bad to me, man. Damn. I know you can use it in a good way, but it's all deceit. It's all you thinking something and doing something else. Smoke screen and mirrors. And I'm not saying that you're not gonna. It's definitely a good read. I'm gonna say it's a good read, man. But every time you read something from it, it just sounds like you're trying to trick a man.
Yeah, but like
it sounds like trickery. I don't really like that, man. I like being like just honest person, man. Not to my enemies, no.
Well then,
and
look, at the end of the day,
these laws,
this is being used on us. This right now is being used on us. So more importantly, even if you read the whole book and think, "Rah, my enemy's reading this," then you can be armed. Like we've got to
I
get
think
that.
you use it in
We've got to
warfare,
stop
innit?
feeling guilty for reading information or feeling like it's a bad thing. It ain't a bad thing. It ain't a bad thing at all.
Yeah, I
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like when I'm reading it, I'm thinking about the government. I'm thinking about who came to my mind? What's his face? Jeremy Corbyn. All these soft-looking politicians, non-threatening looking dudes, dopey looking dudes, and that. Do you know what I mean? Like this is all misdirection. If you look at the government, this is everything that they do. This is their behavior, jotted down right in front of you.
Oh, definitely.
What's
Do you know
them?
what I mean?
What's them martial art films where he's just like one old drunk bum, but really he's hard as nails.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Doing a massive you get me? Like,
That's it. That's it. No, you know what? It's not even that. You be watching that old guy with the fucking white beard and that, thinking any minute he's gonna switch, and it turns out to be the little girl that's just got the mad moves. You know what I mean? That's proper misdirection. But yeah, man.
There's another saying: the wisest man knows nothing at all.
Mm.
And I think that can play a part in some of the things we've mentioned here. And another martial arts saying, what is it? The hardest man. Oh, what is it? The hardest man.
Falls the hardest.
No, I think it's something like, I'm getting it wrong, but it's something like, yeah. Well, there's that saying as well, isn't it? The harder they are, the harder they fall. Yeah, you're right there. But no, I'm not thinking of that one. The hardest man is the one who says the least. Something like that, you know what I mean? He doesn't need to brag about it. But I can't remember the saying, you know. They're just coming in my head as you talk.
The thingy one. Who's that saying in was it, I forget what Rocky film, Sylvester Stallone, when he's talking about just keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. That's my favorite one.
Do you know what I find interesting?
Nah, Dean's one's hard. I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Crazy.
Tony Montana, man.
All right, look, let me just finish this. I've got like a small little Okay. The simplest forms of smokescreen is facial expression. Behind a bland, unreadable exterior, all sorts of mayhem can be planned without detection.
Wow.
This is a weapon that the most powerful men in history have learned to perfect.
Being Van's a G at this.
It was said that no one could read Franklin D. Roosevelt's face. Baron James Rothschild made a lifelong practice of disguising his real thoughts behind bland smiles and nondescript looks. Remember, it takes patience and humility to dull your brilliant colors, to put on the mask of the inconspicuous. Do not despair at having to wear such a bland mask. It is often your unreadability that draws people to you and makes you appear a person of power. And then it's got a little bit, it says, image, a sheep's skin. A sheep never marauds. A sheep never deceives. A sheep is magnificently dumb and docile. With a sheepskin on his back, a fox can pass right into the chicken coop. Yeah, and then it goes, authority. Have you ever heard of a skillful general who intends to surprise a citadel, announcing his plan to his enemy? Conceal your purpose and hide your progress. Do not disclose the extent of your designs until you cannot be opposed, until the combat is over. Win the victory before you declare the war. In a word, imitate those warlike people whose designs are not known except by the ravaged country through which they have passed.
Yeah, not being racist, but most Chinese people, they're hard to read their faces, man. They got stone faces, like a poker face. Notice that about
I think because the Tao trains them that way, and this is pretty much the Tao.
Big up the Tao.
Oh, God.
Definitely.
That, I'm not even gonna say that was funny. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
What was
So,
you gonna...
No, that man just said it's hard to read their faces and stuff. I was just
Mhm.
like, yeah.
No, but I know what he means though. There's like
I found it funny.
quite a stern. Yeah, like yeah, I know what he
No, but
means.
I don't know if it's true, but I read
Man
somewhere
said
that
poker face.
we learn all these facial responses from our parents as children, and the reason why Chinese people don't have them sort of reactions is because their parents don't train them in that way that our parents train us, like looking into our faces and going goo goo gaga and all this that you do to your baby. That's making him be responsive from the get-go. Apparently, I don't know why, but maybe it's a cultural thing that Chinese people don't do that.
Well, I think the Chinese don't do it because of things like Buddhism and the Tao, and there's a lot of staidness. You know, people are the Chinese are very staid, aren't they? Where they don't show facial expressions because wisdom. I think wisdom does that. It keeps your emotions at bay, your facial expressions at bay.
I like that. Still, Mills, what are you saying over there? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You know what? I take it that when you're reading that, it gave me a totally different perspective. The way I was looking at it is sometimes, you know, when you don't reach where you want to get to, you get to some dark spots where you think about giving up, and you don't want to. You feel like you're never going to get to where you want to get to. So what that made me feel like was, look, don't worry if the situation that you can change your situation. So basically, if you keep trying and keep doing what you need to, you can change. So the bit where it says, do not despair at having to wear such a bland mask. It's like, look, I'm not wearing a bland mask. I might be in the situation that I'm in at the moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be in a better position in the future. I understand what he's saying, though, when he's talking about towards people, hiding your concerns, hiding your intentions against people. I just mean it looking at yourself and in generally in life.
Nah, I hear you still. Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you know, you can. What were you gonna say? So you're trying to tell me that I need to put on a face towards you, so you don't understand my intentions. All right, I understand if you're playing poker, that's important.
Yeah, true.
But I'll tell you where else it's important. Me and you go on a trip to Morocco, and we decide on the third day we're going into the souks, and we're gonna go and pick up some dodgy bags or some items, some souvenirs, whatever. Yeah, we go in there, and then straight away it's bartering. This is where your poker face is very important. This is where your understanding of how to even negotiate in a business format is very important. You go in there and you're readable, then you're done. Like, I swear down, we gotta not be afraid of this. Don't be afraid of what they're saying. It's not bad, bro. It's not bad. It's just what will be used on you if you go in to negotiate and you want to get something for certain dirhams. And the man's like, no, okay, no problem, okay, and he turns away and walks away. He has no intention of letting you go. He's doing the opposite. Is this deceitful? Is this deceiving? No, it's just techers, isn't it? It's just techers, isn't it? Bartering is a sport. Yeah, negotiating is a sport. And you got to learn all these little things, even in business. Just like, you get me, because you never know the deal you can get. Do you know what? But even if you're going to be a shotter, yeah, and you want to bargain down the big man to get it for a little bit cheaper. I mean, you got to know certain techers to even negotiate. Can't be giving a man your hand and letting him know everything and rare. You got to keep some information to yourself. This is just all about how to keep and distribute information at will, and sometimes distribute disinformation. And it ain't always got to be a bad thing. If you don't tell me if you can't barter and act like you don't want something that you really want in a marketplace, then you're no good at business. I'll give it to you for £2 and that's it, man. You get me? These times, like, you know how it is when you're trying to sell something. You're like, you know what? For you, bro, I'll give it to you for a £1. You're prepared to go down to £70. But does it? Do you know what I mean? Does it work? Even in an auction. Yeah, but you got to look disinterested. Like, you know what? Every
Yeah, I
time
would
you put your thing up, it looks like it's your last time. Or the opposite. Every time you put your thing up, it looks like you could go on for 1,000,000 years. Either way, you're deceiving because you know what your limit is.
Yeah.
But don't we owe it to our?
I would say, yeah, just don't use the 48 laws of power on your friends and family.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm getting. There's a time to use this, isn't there? I mean, it's not a designed for life, is it? It's where you use it all the time, because there are times when we owe it to our family, for instance, and our friends and people we're gathered with, you know, as colleagues maybe, that we do occasionally smile. Maybe one of the kids will sing a song and you think, oh, that's lovely, so you want to encourage them, so you smile. I mean, you can't sit there with a poker face when the kid's looking at you saying, have I done right there, daddy? Like, you know.
No, but the thing is that unfortunately, the poker face may be the fact that you are really having a shit day, or some things are really going wrong, and you're trying to put it together, but your child is there. Your child needs a moment of your time to appreciate something they've done. That poker face could be the smile and the interest that you feign at that moment when it's the last thing on your mind right now, because everything behind the scenes may be a little bit hectic.
I know,
you know what I mean?
but you can't you might not be aware of that. You can't control it. But this is
I think you can
telling us to
have control over your
faculties. If you're having a shit day, you need to be in awareness that you have got a poker face. But this is telling us to use a poker face. So in other words, be in awareness. I might have
use it. Learn. You go to work. You leave your shit.
Yeah, but you can't.
You leave your shit at the door. Yeah, and you got to learn that, and you got to learn how to navigate the workplace, even when shit. No, hold on. But too many of us are too emotive. We're too full of emotion. Yeah, and we want to be honest in how we feel, so we blurt out things, we switch, we get angry, and we let it on that we are under stress. And I think that even in a business setting, there's no space for that. You got to be sharper and stronger and more on point than other people would be. And if you're having a shit time, if you slept in your car that morning or that night or got no sleep, you have to go into work and fucking. Do you know what I mean? If you're competing at work, and this is what you need. You know what I mean? Even as a people, even if you think about it as a community group or as a group of friends or whatever you are, as a gang, you can apply this in any way. You don't want to be showing weakness when you don't need to. You don't want to be letting off information when you don't need to. I think there's just too many ways to apply it to see this as being something negative. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And especially when it comes to borrowing, I'll give you a little trick that I always do. I always give my first price way out the ballpark, and then the second price is the actual price that I want, just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So what that
does
what
you use it for. Literally, it's what you use it for.
Say that again? Sorry?
You can in the outside world, when you're dealing with work and things like that, then it's a perfect place to be practicing the 48 levels of power in it. But I just think it's good to show vulnerable. It's good to be vulnerable to your children, or to have that that openness where it's just without thinking in that format. Do you know what I mean?
I would agree. But I just think even within those settings, there's times and places. Even within your relationship, I think there's times and places. You don't want to employ it, cool, but you end up saying some shit that you didn't have to say. And if you want your shit to work, sometimes you have to employ more strategy than emotion. Emotion's there. You got to be true to yourself. And if there's no emotion there, then you wouldn't be in the scenario you're in. But to preserve what you have to overthink or outthink your emotional self, innit? You have to outthink it.
Definitely.
That's what called control, innit? And that's where it's like, you know what? I could let everybody know today exactly how shit I feel, but I'm not going to because it is what it is.
Mind over your heart.
Why is it when you're
mind
lying?
Over your heart,
Everyone, if your intention is to lie to someone, the giveaway is your own face. You're basically being counterproductive. Like, if you can't lie without your face giving it away, don't bother lying. You get me? Because you're just wasting your time, your energy. You're just being counterproductive. you know what I'm saying? Like if your mind, your thought, your intention, and your face are all working towards one end goal, your own face ain't gonna give you away. But as
guess
humans,
what? Guess
we're
what?
always living in this
Can I just add?
dualistic mentality. Go on.
Sorry, family. Sorry. Let me just
No,
add,
I'll
though,
cut
yeah.
you.
Let me just add. If we all went down to a local jujitsu or ninjitsu or something zitsu, do you know what I mean? Corona jitsu class, yeah, and we were getting taught some deadly moves. Imagine if every 10 minutes your instructor kept stopping you and saying, right, now this now is a one-arm leg takedown, yeah? Please don't try this on your family and friends. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this now is a flying, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Please don't try this on your family and friends. Like, eventually you get the picture. You're not learning this shit to use on your family and friends.
Right.
So we don't need to keep confirming it to ourselves. I don't use this in your family. Rare. Yeah, we should know, innit? When, like, do you know what I mean? We should know, innit? Like,
but that's what I thought in the beginning. I thought this was that everything that's in this book is going to be exactly how you should live. But I'm learning as we're going on that it's not. It's only for certain situations, you know.
We are
I'll tell you a little story.
Governments.
A story about
Think of
lying,
it from a government perspective. Or
I don't usually lie, but like
Did
this
you
one
just say?
time, yeah, I learned this lesson. Let me tell you this story.
Me and my I've got to go.
Yeah.
Big up Jedi. Big up.
big up
everybody on the panel. I'm going to listen in the background.
Who's going to love this one?
And all good. I enjoyed the chat today.
Respect, brother. Respect.
One love, yeah?
Yeah.
Go on.
Come on.
Respect.
Go on,
Like, yeah, this one time, yeah, we went Spitalfield Market. My ex-boss, God rest his soul. And this one guy was selling all these mangoes, yeah, like 4 crates of mangoes. And my boss, yeah, being a master haggler, haggled him right down. I was like, you know, like these laws, you can read them in a book, but you can learn them from people as well.
Yeah.
Like he haggled him right down. And I'm like listening to like the back and forth between them. And he's saying to him, like, because in Spitalfield, you got to buy stuff that's 3-4 days still in date. So usually when you buy fruit, it's rock hard, innit? But then mangoes had to be sold that day, like they were going to get binned. Yeah, so he literally got them for like next to nothing. Yeah, he's going to me, do you know where to sell mangoes? Yeah, so I got him, yeah, innit? Like Stroud Green Road, there's about 4 or 5 Asian brothers. They all sell mangoes. He's like, wicked. Load up, we're going straight there. So I went in the first shop. I got to the guy, do you want to buy mangoes? He's like, no. Go in the second shop, do you want to buy mangoes? No. Went in about 6 shops, bro. On the last shop, yeah, here's the guy to me. Did any of the other shops buy mangoes off you? I looked at him and I goes, yeah, that shop that I just come out of bought 3 boxes. He goes, give me 6. All right. So come out of there. As I come out of there delivering the mangoes, the other guy was like, hey, come here. He goes, how many did he just buy off you? He goes, 6. He goes, bring me 6 as well. And I ended up going all the way back up the road to all the people that said no to me. Ended up buying mangoes off me. We sold 4 crates of mangoes. My boss, God rest his soul, was like so happy with me. He's like, oh my God, you're the best lad I've ever had. Like, you're taken to this like a duck to water. Sometimes lying's a good thing, isn't
it? I hear you.
So is it okay to lie to get to where you want to get to?
Yes.
That's the next question I want to ask you.
100%.
100%. Even if it's even if it affects someone that's close to you.
What, negatively or positively?
Especially if it affects someone close to you.
It just has an impact.
Especially.
Well, if it has a positive impact, I would say it's okay to lie. Little white lie, you know. Does my bum look big in this? No, darling, you look gorgeous. Like.
Well, you don't agree? What do you think? What do you think, Western Goddess? Are you there? Actually, not there. Yeah. Do you agree, Mills? It's okay to lie or not?
Bernard Manning said, you know, when his wife said,
it's very subjective, isn't it? Because this is how powerful the brain is. Like, it will even lie, it will do anything to get to you would lie, you would cheat in a race just to get first.
Mm,
And do you remember I always told you this? I was like, look what they're doing to us. Are we willing to do what they're doing to us?
Yeah.
You understand? It goes back to that.
There's a story in the Bible where, with is it Rahab, where she's concealing the two spies, the two Israelites, and they're knocking on the door, aren't they? And they're saying, "Are these guys in here?" And she says, "No," and she's rewarded by God for that. Actually, she gets into heaven for that, and that's telling a lie. So even the Bible's God says it's okay at times.
Thanks for saying that, because that's exactly what I was thinking. If you're rightly guided and you're saying get what you want, then the thing that you want should be a righteous thing. So anyone who's opposing you on getting that, you can deem them as unrighteous or as an obstacle that you need to get around. So in that case, lying, which is a tool to getting what you want, I say is justified. But like you got to trace it back to the beginning, which is you got to be wanting the right thing to start with.
I thought you were going to say trace it back to the beginning, which is Satan.
Which is a lie. That's another thing. That's what I was going to say as well. If you're starting your foundation on a lie, how strong is your structure going to stand?
Yeah.
That's right. When you say lie, what do you mean? You mean
lie
something
to
that's
get to
fake?
where you want to get to, bro? I don't know. Anything like you just lied to my man when really true you didn't, and you sold man gone off mangoes. But it weren't the fact that you were saying
No, they
gone
weren't
off
gone
mangoes.
off. No, they weren't gone off.
The next day,
They had to be sold that day.
Must have sold my gone off mangoes.
But come on, bro, they ain't selling them 3-4 boxes that day. They're selling it the next day, if they're lucky.
No, you don't understand. People go to the market and
you know what I mean, though, Carl. Why are you making that like? I'm not trying to
I
put
don't
you
know
in
what
the
you
way.
mean, bro. Like, no, it takes them 3-4 days to sell them all, innit? So, you know, they have to buy them still green, innit? The mangoes, because you don't want to get stuck with gone off mangoes, innit? So they sell them when they're like literally like uneatable. But anyway.
But yeah, this is what I was just trying to say. That all right, I know you. I'd say yeah, of course. Have I lied to get to where I want to get to in the past? Of course I have. But then where has that got me? Has that always stuck?
Well, then
Have
you
I
lied. That's because what you wanted was wrong from the start. What you wanted was wrong.
Interesting. All right, let me get to this next law, yeah? On law number 4. Boom. Law number 4. It says, no, sorry, because I'm a dunce. My bad. That was law number fucking 5, mate. Fancy that.
I like that. Law 3 leads you right into law 4. So law 3 was hide your intentions, yeah?
So what I'm going to do with this book later on, I'll be reading it for weeks probably, is I'm going to try and see the good side of it, and I'm going to try and see the negative side. Because I kept meeting these things as negative, as a psychopath.
I'm going to try and see the good side of it.
Yeah, because I was only seeing the bad side, and it's shown me already that I've got the type of mind, and it might be a paranoid type of mind, that I was seeing it as a manual for a psychopath. So I've learned a little bit about myself here already, you know what I mean? So I've got to go and look at not necessarily the psychopathic parts, but how they can be used positively, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a good exercise for me.
All right, let me go.
Have you ever read Sun Tzu's The Art of War?
Let me go.
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah.
Let me go. Right. Law number 4. Yeah. Always say less than necessary. Judgment. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, the less in control. Oh, sorry. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you're saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish.
Wow.
Mm.
That's deep.
Less is more, isn't it? That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Empty vessels make the most noise.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the
another
word
one I like? Lao Tzu.
And going back to lying, they say when you lying, you got to cover a lie with another lie.
Yeah, it's hard work to lie. Because you got to remember everything, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
We remember lies all day, every day, mate. I tell them for truths. We remember lies, man. Trust me. One thing humans fucking learn is lies, mate. They got no problem. Till it seems true.
When I was a kid, my mum died when I was 10. And I don't know why. I didn't want anyone to talk to me about it because I was so shocked.
You know, talk about drop a bomb on us, as.
No, I know. So it don't hit me heavy. This
how he tells the
Let
story.
him finish, please.
But the thing is, I turned into a liar. And from the age of 10 to 16, I was in, because I didn't know I was doing it, but because I was defensive, I had to get counselling in the end. I started to lie about everything, and there were things so stupid that I would lie about my name to people because I just didn't want them to talk to me about my mum because I couldn't face talking about it. So I went into this other reality. So what I did when I was 16 and I moved to a new town, I swore to myself that I would never tell another lie, and I don't think I've told another lie since then.
Unless you're lying now when you told us all this.
No, yeah, I'm not lying. No, I'm at least honest with myself, and I'm asking you to believe me. It's just an interesting thing, you know. That, but you might think that some people do tell lies. I don't think that I have. So if my missus said to me, "Does my ass look big in this?" I would have to say yes if she wants an answer. You know what I mean? Because I've sworn to myself that I'm not allowed to lie anymore.
Mad.
Sorry about that.
Why, Jay, you always talk about being a psychopath? Is that why you think you got psychotic tendencies?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I might have. I don't know, but no, I don't think that's the reason.
No, I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Sorry to hear about that, man. But it's
no, man. It was 50 years ago.
That's
I'm well over it. I'm sorry you're dropping it like that. You know, because I'm not affected by it.
It's the truth. Speak
Yeah,
your
you know,
truth.
it just came to my mind, and I thought, you know, I thought I'd.
How did you deal
You're
with it?
saying that it was an avoidance strategy.
Yeah, it was a coping strategy, so I didn't have to talk about it because I was so hurt. Probably, you know, I couldn't face talking about it. At that time, you know, I'm like nearly 60 now, you know, so I'm well over it. But at that time, I think that's how I was dealing with it.
Just by not talking about it, by concealing it.
No, by lying. I started. I think, you know, it's just coming to me now that because I've never realized this. I think I was training myself to be a liar. So if anybody did, because the ironic thing, no one ever did ask me about it. So, and I was thinking, I was probably training myself to be a liar. So if everybody did start talking to me about it, I would know how to deflect from it, or yeah, probably deflect from it. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, crazy thing.
Right. Power is, to many ways, a game of appearances, and when you say less than necessary, you inevitably appear greater and more powerful than you are. Your silence will make other people uncomfortable. Humans are machines of interpretation and explanation. They have to know what you are thinking. When you carefully control what you reveal, they cannot piece your intentions or your meaning. Your short answers and silences will put them on the defensive, and they will jump in, nervously filling the silence with all kinds of comments that will reveal valuable information about them
Wow.
and their weaknesses.
Wow.
They will leave a meeting with you feeling as if they had been robbed, and they will go home and ponder your every word. This extra attention to your brief comments will only add to your power. As a young man, the artist Andy Warhol had the revelation that it was generally impossible to get people to do what you wanted them to do by talking to them. They would turn against you, subvert your wishes, disobey you out of sheer perversity. He once told a friend, I learned that you actually have more power when you shut up. In his later life, Warhol employed his strategy with great success. His interviews were exercises in auricular speech. He would say something vague and ambiguous, and the interviewer would twist in circles trying to figure it out, imagining that there was something profound behind his often meaningless phrases. Warhol rarely talked about his work. He let others do the interpreting. The less he said about his work, the more people talked about it, and the more they talked, the more valuable his work became.
Now I know where David Bowie
Interesting.
might have learnt that from.
Yeah.
David
So
Bowie.
his absence. Hello, can you hear me?
Because he
go
was
on.
friends. He was friends with Warhol. Sorry, go on, Goddess.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what I was trying to say is, his absence, Warhol's absence, made people want to see his work more, made people want to learn about him more. I like that one.
Mm-mm.
And
I
they
like
were
that
also
one. Yeah.
revealing themselves in their guessing. So that's a very powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Absence
Definitely.
makes the heart. What is it? Yeah. Absence.
Growth under.
Forgot what. Yeah, growth under. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Even in a relationship, if you think about it, if you tell a girl or a girl tells you everything about her life, then you got nothing else to find out about her. Then it's like it dies down. And like, oh shit, there's
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
else. You know, when you go too
Like
fast.
she's already put everything on the table. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, you know, I don't have any more surprises, if you like.
But does it die down or
learn
settle
more.
down?
Yeah.
Because if it dies, the quicker that it's going to die, the better, isn't it? But if it only
Yeah.
settles down, the quicker you settle down, the better, you know.
I mean, some men probably love that. Just lay everything out one time.
Yeah, I think I do actually. I think I do. It saves time for me. Why get into a relationship 3 years later when everything's out? It dies. You think, oh no, I've got to save 2.5 years here.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, personally, yeah, I know. Like the less you say, definitely, man. And like it's another thing, another saying. Familiarity breeds contempt, and we know it in other terms, like you know, when people get too comfortable with you, they think they know you, and they think and then like you can see they you know, like when you're supposed to have boundaries, like especially like in a parenting kind of situation, even having boundaries with your child is very important because there has to be that part of respect that is there in it. And you know, when you do too friendly, they think that you and them are brethren or something. They forget the role and the pecking order. And it's important to teach your children, even in a family, a pecking order of respect. Well, not even everyone gets respect, but you know what I mean? This is just, there's a way and it's a structure, and it's important for people to learn that in their home settings. And so, I mean, that could be one for parents. Sometimes disclosing too much to your child and saying too much can have the reverse effect because you're wondering why your kids are not respecting you. Do you know what I mean? You've not created that awe about you, which is sometimes through not sharing certain things or not speaking about certain things. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know.
It comes down to like authority as well, because it's like as a child growing up, it was like when adults were in the house in a certain room, children couldn't be in the middle of the conversation. You know what I mean? You would have to go to the other reception room or to your bedroom and go and play some games. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to sit down next to auntie,
I go and listen up
uncle,
the airway
dad,
and hear everyone.
mom. You would, that wasn't allowed. You get me? So yeah, it's all about the absence of authority and letting people know, or letting people not know actually what your next move is.
Yeah.
So it boils down to that, isn't it? Again.
God, it's amazing, all these different ways to think, isn't it?
Mills, you good? Khan, you good? Carnito?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Cool. By saying less than necessary, you create the appearance of meaning and power. Also, the less you say, the less risk you run of saying something foolish, even dangerous. In 1825, a new Tsar, Nicholas I, ascended the throne of Russia. A rebellion immediately broke out by liberals demanding that the country modernize. That is, its industries and civil structures catch up with the rest of Europe. Brutally crushing this rebellion, the December uprising, Nicholas I sentenced one of its leaders, Kondraty Railev, to death. On the day of the execution, Railev stood on the gallows, the noose around his neck. The trapdoor opened, but as Railev dangled, the rope broke, dashing him to the ground. At the time, events like that were considered signs of providence or heavenly will, and a man saved from execution this way was usually pardoned. As Railev got to his feet, bruised and dirtied, but believing his neck had been saved, he called out to the crowd, "You see, in Russia, they don't know how to do anything properly, not even how to make a rope." A messenger immediately went to the Winter Palace with news of the failed hanging. Vexed by this disappointing turnout, Nicholas I nevertheless began to sign the pardon. But then, did Railev say anything after the miracle? The Tsar asked the messenger. "Sire," the messenger replied, "he said that in Russia they don't know how to make rope." "In that case," said the Tsar,
hang him again.
"Let us prove the contrary," and tore up the pardon. The next day, Railev was hanged again. This time, the rope did not break. Learn the lesson. Once the words are out, you cannot take them back. Keep them under control. Be particularly careful with sarcasm. The momentary satisfaction you gain with your biting words will be outweighed by the price you pay. Yeah, man. Don't chat too quick. It's not everything that you must. Not everything you have to say. You don't have to say everything. Yeah, me. And just remember that. Yeah, sometimes you speak too soon. I got that lesson the other day. Yeah.
What happened then?
I was too free with information, and it was used against me to stop me from gaining something that I really wanted.
Right.
Yeah. So
I've had that. Do you know, if we use the word manipulation in with the teachings of this book, it is manipulation, isn't it?
Is it manipulation?
Now, yeah, but manipulation isn't necessarily negative. It can be positive.
It could be deemed as manipulation, or it could be deemed as like being in control of yourself, innit?
True.
And being aware of your position.
Yes. So there's your own self in this picture, and there are other people in this picture. You're right. So with other people, it would probably be manipulation, and with yourself, it would. I don't know what it would be, but it would be a kind of wisdom, wouldn't it, or a self-control, or a self-learning. Yeah.
I mean, training yourself when to speak and what to speak and why to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like the book speaks heavily of its effect on others, but it also has an effect on you, and a lot of it is actually more humbling than it might first seem, because it teaches you to take away from your ego-filled emotional
Yes.
responses, and kind
Yeah.
of
Wow.
slow that, like, yeah, it's like, you know, speed your thoughts up so that they can actually be analyzed before you act on them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything to be measured and to be calculated. Always sounds like a bad thing, but that's only by people that want you to give away all your information so that they can use it. So they don't want you to join that club of maybe saying one thing but thinking another. But they will do it to you all day long. I'm
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, yeah. They'll do it to you all day
Yeah.
long to get what they want,
Yeah. Silently, without you knowing.
without you know, while condemning it. Oh, this is horrible. Oh
Yeah,
no,
man.
we can't
Wow.
do that.
They could even be
Yeah,
condemning it. True.
condemning it.
Wow.
Like, what is this, man? Nah, man. Fuck that. I'm always gonna tell you the truth. But then in their head, there's like the
Yeah.
shit they're not already not telling you the truth about.
Wow. In
This
a
is
lot of ways, I am very naive in life and with people. You know, I don't know how that's happened, but I really am. And just, you know, in the last hour that we've been talking about this, it's shown me that this book is going to do me the world of good. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to start using it negatively to manipulate people negatively. I'm not. But what I am going to get from it, and I know this already, is that I'm going to learn how these people think, and it's I'm going to add it to my toolbox.
Who's
And,
these people? Sorry to interrupt you, but for clarity's
well, you
sake,
know,
who
people
are
like the government.
these
I
people?
already know. The government are manipulating. It's the same as Jedi's always on about, yeah, because he's writing everything he says, and I already know that, but I don't know everything. For instance, I can't understand, and these people are psychopaths. I know I keep using that word, but they really are. They're devoid of all emotion. Some of them, anyway, and I can't understand
Jay, what's the
why they
difference
do it.
between a psychopath and a sociopath?
Well, a sociopath will smash a hammer over your head just because he loses his temper. But a psychopath, and he might feel sorry for it later on, but a psychopath will think, is it in my best interest to smash a hammer over your head right now, where someone might see it and I might lose a bit of face or lose a bit of something, but I'll get you later on. And the psychopath will store it, and then he'll smash you over the head with an hammer and not feel anything. And it's the same with these politicians. They're not feeling us, you know, because they don't know what it's like to be where we are. And when they think of it, they just don't use their emotions to make decisions, you know, good decisions. So already they show me that a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are psychopaths. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's just a fact. And a psychopath, you know, if you study psychopaths, you'll find that they do strive for powerful positions like heads of political parties, or even to be a politician or a cop.
What about
or
policemen as well? Sorry to cut
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
Jack. The same
yeah.
with policemen. I swear
No,
that's
no.
what they look for.
Yeah, they are. You find a lot of psychopaths who are in the police force and in the army. And it doesn't take anything away from these people. It's just that it shows the authorities that they're going to be easy to train and go into situations where they won't use their emotions to back off from the situation, but they're devoid of emotions, and they'll go and do negative things. You know, like do you remember the miners' strike in the 80s in the 80s with Maggie Thatcher? You probably don't remember, but a lot of police were sent in to keep the picket lines divided from the people who were coming into work. And these cops were showing the miners who were striking the wage packets, and they were getting like 700 quid a week. Now, if those people had a conscience and used their emotions, they would have realized that the government were really, you know, treating the people really badly, and they might not have went to work. So that's why the government look for psychopaths to do jobs like, you know, the police and the army and things like that.
All right. Let me read this. Oysters open completely when the moon is full, and when the crab sees one, it throws a piece of stone or seaweed into it, and the oyster cannot close again, so that it serves the crab for meat. Such is the fate of him who opens his mouth too much and thereby puts himself at the mercy of the listener. That's by Leonardo da Vinci.
So loose lips, sink ships.
There's another one there. Image. The oracle at the oracle at Delphi. When visitors consulted the oracle, the priestess would utter a few enigmatic words that seemed full of meaning and import. No one disobeyed the words of the oracle. They held power over life and death. Yeah. And then it goes, authority. Never start moving your own lips and teeth before the subordinates do. The longer I keep quiet, the sooner others move their lips and teeth. If they move their lips and teeth, I can thereby understand their real intentions. If the sovereign is not mysterious, the ministers will find opportunity to take and take. And that's a Chinese philosopher from the 3rd century, Han Fai Zhu. Yeah.
The zoo.
So basically, and like even in acting, they tell you, like, when it comes to dialogue or writing dialogue, the most powerful person in the room is probably going to have the least lines. Do you know what I mean?
The least what?
I love
Least
this is one of my
lines.
favorites. I really like this one. I
lines,
like this one a lot.
Yeah.
This one's like really resonating with me, I have to say.
So like, you know, just a little bit of advice, man. Don't always be the chatty patty. Do you know what I mean? The one that's always saying stuff, and I mean,
I am a chatty patty, like I must admit. But
I
I
mean,
don't
like, have you
apologize
ever
for it.
taught yourself out of something, like where you had something in the bag and then
probably, yeah.
due to just wanting to chat and feel it and just talk, you end up saying some shit that you shouldn't have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all part of growing up, isn't it?
Yeah. You know?
I can't think of anything, but I'm
heist,
sure I have.
when we do heist meals, yeah, see, the least chat the better. Do you know what I mean? Just get on with it. Small bits of information. Do you know what I mean? When you're walking past them security guards, you're just keeping it moving, like but ain't got time to chat. Even the game tells you the longer that you stay there, that you become suspicious.
Yeah.
By the time they see you, you need to be going. That's what I mean.
Jeez.
But yeah, man. Sometimes learn how to be the grey man, innit? There's a lot of wisdom in that. Take it how you want it. Do you know what I mean? But
when we say these things that you're saying, when you take it with balance, though, let's say you are the person that's the quietest then in the room. It doesn't mean obviously keep staying quiet, but maybe your thing might need to be is to actually start speaking up.
Yeah, but it's about quality, not quantity.
Jeez.
You can speak up, but are you going to be heard? You need to pick the time when you're heard.
I was going to say there's the time and the place, isn't it, really? You wouldn't just speak up when everyone's sort of in the room.
Speak up when
maybe morning or something like that. You wouldn't really do that.
When everyone's speaking up, then you're speaking up too, and it's like, all right, great. But if you time it right, there could be a period of time where your voice is the only one, or is the loudest, or the most distinctive, or is doing the opposite thing that everyone else is. But people are gonna be like, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing.
I'm telling you, it's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, family. So yeah, man.
It always keeps my fucking brain going, man.
That was chapter 3 and chapter 4, or law 3 and law 4. Yeah, always say less than necessary. And the first one was conceal your intentions. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man. Hope you lot enjoyed that. It's the 48 Laws of Power. Join me next Wednesday for like chapters 5 and 6. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. And what's the next one after that? And number 6 is court attention at all costs. Boom. So yeah, man, if you enjoyed that, please hit the like button. Check out all the links in the description. They take you to my different social medias and different YouTube pages and that. Please support, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Help me grow the thing. If you want to support via a donation, we've got the PayPal link. We got the username for the Cash App, and that's all in the description as well. All donations appreciated. Hit that like button. It's Wednesday night. Been streaming all day. I'm done. I'm done. But thank you very much to all the panel members as well. Mills, Jack Ladd, Carnito, Western Goddess, BVM, everyone in the chats, Dean, Cone, Nita, Are You Correct? Yeah, man. Listen back to it if you missed the beginning. And if you missed chapters 1 and 2, go and listen back to that as well, man. Because that was good.
I really enjoyed that, Jedi. Thanks, mate. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic.
Come again next week. Let's do it again.
Thank you.
Come on. Big up, big
That
up.
was brilliant.
Come on, man. Yeah.